Hello, good evening, good morning, everyone. This is Amy, the Mystic Rose Tarot. So this is the finale. This third decan in Leo from August 13th to the 22nd rounds up my year-long journey with the Tarot Astrology Decans. And I started this a year ago with the first decan in Virgo. And that decan, I believe, is the 23rd to, I think, September 1st or 2nd. And I was just going to do this maybe every other month, but I found out as I was exploring the Unified Esoteric Tarot, which was one of the decks that inspired me to do this decan journey, that this was something that I had to follow through more frequently. So I did. I decided to go ahead and make the commitment for a year and explore each astrological month and their 3 decans in relation to their planetary reference for the Unified Esoteric Tarot, the sign that it's in, and also the minor arcana card of influence. So we've gone full circle. So with this third decan, the focus here, and I'm going to go back to, I'm going to reflect back on the previous 2 decans, which I do when I get to the last decan of each astrological month. Spirit. So we have here for the Unified Esoteric Tarot, we have the keyword of authority. And our planet of influence for this card is Mars in Leo. So for the last 3 decans in Leo, the planet influences for each decan is actually aligned to the Golden Dawn. Now, what's different here with the Unified Esoteric Tarot is that Attila Karpathy, the creator of this deck, works with the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So with the Golden Dawn, the focus was only on the 7 traditional planets that go all the way to Saturn, and then we have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So throughout this deck, this is the Unified Esoteric Tarot, the planetary placement for some of these signs are shifted to accommodate those 3 additional outer planets, generational planets, the modern planets, into this deck. So when you look when you work with this deck, you're not going to see the alignment as we see with Golden Dawn astrological attributes. But here, with the last 3 held in the sign of Leo, they are in their proper planetary placement for each decan. So with our 3rd decan, Mars in Leo, and then our minor arcana card of influence is the 7 of Wands. So let's focus on the energy here with authority and the influence of Mars in Leo. So when we think about Mars, okay, Mars is that it's a fiery planet, and the previous 2 planets that are assigned in this Leo month are also fiery as well, Jupiter and the Sun, which rules Leo, both fiery energies. But the way that they approach these planets, characteristics approach their energy to the sign of Leo is quite different. So with the Mars in Leo, again, we have authority. This placement with Mars sits really well with the sign of Leo because it gives It fuels the energy, the drive that's needed to achieve Leo's heart's desires, what really inspires them. This planet of Mars takes on sometimes aggressive action. It's very direct. It's very forceful at times. It's also a creative energy. So with an example of those attributes, we are looking at different ways that Mars can influence Leo, to have this authority to take charge of one's own self, and having that will to follow through what they believe in. This can also involve taking risks with Mars and Leo, which is fine because Leo is the sign of courage. Anything that may come to them, they know that they can tackle it and move forward from it. Leos try not to take things personally, but depending where they are, they being Leo, depending on where they are in their heart, risk can sometimes be a opposing influence to them. It could weaken them, thinking that they were able to handle a situation, but they found out through their own characteristics that their drive wasn't as strong, their will wasn't as strong. So with this card, Mars and Leo, planet sign influence, this inspires Leo to just go ahead, take the challenge, take the challenge. Whatever the outcome is, Leo is ready to take on the outcome from it. So if the choices that they make ends up being to their benefit, wonderful. If it ends up going against them, then they have to take that responsibility and move, acknowledge the situation, remedy it, and to continue moving on. Leo doesn't like to keep still. Leo needs to keep this energy moving, but it still wants to remain on course. We are also looking at how they can remain dedicated when answering their own calling. There is something within them, within their heart, their instincts, intuition, that in spite of any challenges that comes their way, they will move forward. They will continue to do it. If they fall down, they'll pick themselves up and tie those bootstraps again and continue moving forward. That's how Leo falls in the authoritative persona. They take charge of themselves. No one can take charge of a Leo. Only Leo can. And so by having that strength, having that confidence, and having that drive and belief to move forward, people will see this. Okay, I've mentioned this a few times. Leo has a magnetic personality. There's just something innate in their characteristics that just brings people to them, and knows that whatever faults may come along the way, that they will continue to move forward and to better the situation, to share this experience that this Leo III is fighting through. And this becomes inspiration for people who are watching this, especially when they reach their final destination, when they've achieved their aspirations. So Mars in Leo is a wonderful example of having that aggressive, direct energy, determination. I'm going to do this, whether you like it or not. I'm going to do this. And that's the Leo perspective. Nothing can stop them. Only they can stop themselves. So that's where we're looking with the influence of Mars and Leo. Self-authority, taking charge of one's own self in a situation where they don't want to rely on someone else. They can do it on their own. And those actions and thoughts, if done correctly and done right, will lead them to where they need to be. So let's focus too a little bit on, looking at my notes here, let's focus on the energy of the Seven of Wands. I have 3 cards for this decan that represents the Seven of Wands. And as many of you know, I use different cards from varying decks just to show the different representation of the Seven of Wands or Seven of Fire in different decks. So with the Seven of Wands, let me just give a brief overview, and then I'll start showing the cards specifically. The Seven of Wands is about trusting your instincts and just standing firm in your beliefs and values, integrity. Basically, you will defend any challenge that may counter your perspective. This card can also represent a busy time in someone's life, and also specific in certain areas, a lot of activity going on. And if there is a lot happening, whether it's business, family, personal, you will have to have that endurance and also that force, that inner life force to work through these situations that can be challenging at times. Okay? You have to pull through it. And I feel the 2 key words for the Seven of Wands to describe that kind of energy is control, your own control, like I said, your own authority, and willpower. These are the key influences I feel for the Seven of Wands. Success comes through the influence of your own values and beliefs that actually goes beyond others' expectations. So you actually go beyond the call of duty that I think may surprise some people, and seeing the direction that you took to reach your goals. You think about people, if you know, who are obviously Leos, that they will go through any means to attain that success. And that's where the Leo influence of the ego comes in, because the sun is related to the ego. It's the conscious self. There is a bit of personal gratitude that comes in accomplishing things and knowing that you put all this energy and effort into it. And that's totally fine, and that's recognized with Leos. As long as it isn't flaunted and it isn't being gratuitous with the success of what you've attained, but there is a pride, and that's something that will always be there with Leos. You cannot take that away from them, whether they've gone through a challenge and they've overcome it, or they've happened to fall into success through any means. There is a proudness that comes with that, and that's natural for the sign of Leo, and especially in this decan. Okay, so the first card I'm going to show that depicts the Seven of Wands is here with the Lamina Tarot. I'm going to move my screen here. There we go. All righty. So here is our Seven of Wands. Here we have a beetle. And there's no explanation about specifically why this beetle, or it's not really a scarab, is used as an example for the Seven of Wands. I mean, beetles are very strong. They're very enduring. They are adaptable to various situations. They have that hard shell. Some beetles have a hard shell on the outside for their own protection. But here we're seeing the movement of energy, the wands here, just showing all this activity. And we have this beautiful creature that's just moving with it. But also, as you notice, the direction of these wands are in that order. They are direct, they're not scattered, they're not in opposite directions, they're going with the energy. And I can also say that the beetle is almost enhancing the direction of this. It's fueling that energy. So with the Lumina Tarot, what we have here, dealing more in the inner aspect, meaning of the Seven of Wands, is it's the reminder to trust our inner light and to follow through by accomplishing our desires. So this is a time to be bold in your actions so others can be empowered by your journey. Remain dedicated and move with the supportive energies that surround you. So again, we're going with the flow, but you are directing this. You have this stealth-like presence and perspective that this is what you're going to do. This is where you're going to go. And you're going to guide it in such a way that it will lead by making, again, those right choices, doing those right actions, that it will ultimately lead you to where you need to be, which is of great importance for you. You cannot have any other distractions coming in while on this journey. The next card that I have here is with the Dreams of Gaia. Okay, and the Dreams of Gaia works in the realm of the elements: fire, air, earth, and water. So here is our Seven of Fire. Now the energy here with this fire, or with this card, works with the intuitive side. It's that drive, it's that energy, that's that fuel, our instincts, that moves us. Okay, I'm going to move a little closer so you can see this. So we have two felines on either side. One's like a light yellow, the other one's like an orange. Both colors fueling good health and energy and movement. And here we have the individual with the butterfly showing the transformation that comes from it, and the lotus representing our inner spirituality. And we have the snake wrapped around the fingers. I could take that as the Kundalini serpent, which is that movement of energy from our root base chakra all the way up. This is the journey that this card is representing. Here, this is the life force that's needed to be trusted upon. And we need to make sure that we follow this and we utilize this energy, this inner trust, our instincts primarily, on a regular basis. Because if we don't, intuition is something that it's not really a skill. We all have intuition and instincts, but it's how you use it. If you don't use it very often, and what I mean by that is not following it, this energy weakens, and it becomes, our intuition instincts is a guide, can also be a protective guide. And so by not following this, we could be missing opportunities. We could put ourselves in a situation where we could be put in danger. And that comes by not listening, by not following what's churning inside of us. So by following your instincts, what you feel deep down, what is moving you, following the call of your intuition, doing so will awaken your own personal insight and what is being experienced. As I had just mentioned, developing these instincts is key when it comes to catching any signs of opportunities. Look for patterns. If you see things happening in a similar manner over and over again, those are signs. Okay, these aren't set coincidences. These are things that are happening, and you need to be mindful of that. because this is a guide. This is a sign that's leading you to something that you need to pay attention to. Again, be observant and open to these opportunities, these potentials that can reveal that inner light of self-trust. This is what we're seeing here. We're trusting what we're feeling is good, no matter how off the wall it may be. We're trusting that the feeling that we're feeling is going to be in our best interest. It could be needed for experience, or the feeling we're feeling could be we need to protect ourselves. We need to keep distance from a particular situation. So this is here with the dreams of Gaia, the 7 of fire. Fire being the light within, that intuition, trusting it. And that's also a form of authority, okay, because you are taking charge of what you're feeling, not someone else, but you. Okay, you're responsible for how you're feeling and the actions you take from it. All right, so then next, I have just 3 cards instead of 4 or 5. I want to keep this decan very simple. The next card that I have here is related to the Tarot, well, not related, it is the Tarot of the Holy Light. And I've been using this card throughout my decan journey to show the esoteric aspects of the minor arcana throughout the decans. And here is the 7 of Wands. And I'll move closely here. Okay, so the planetary and sign influence, just to point this out, is quite different. Christine Payne Towler, who created this deck, used a not different form of astrology, but this is like, it predates traditional astrology. So the placement of the decan and the planet and sign influence is different. Here, we're seeing Mars in Sagittarius. And I don't want to deviate so much on the explanation in great detail about Mars and Sagittarius. Mars in any fire sign is always good. Mars in Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius is good because it's creating that momentum. But again, as I mentioned, with Mars and all the other planets, that planet influences each of these signs and different characteristics based on the sign, of course, and also the element of influence. So if this was Mars in Cancer, obviously the energy would be quite different. It would be more of an emotional tug of war, between doing action and also just staying reserved. That's just an example. But let's just focus here on just the 7 of Wands. Okay, so we have flames, we have the 7 staffs, and here we have the different glyphs of the planets. These are associated quite differently in regards for the meanings of the glyphs. What we have here with the Tarot of the Holy Light, we're seeing this energy through the planetary influences to persevere through any obstacles that may hinder your achievement and your desires. So still holding the same meaning. But here, this is a moment of facing your own fears when coming up against obstacles while trying to reach your full potential. So an example of this is like you're on your journey, and then you come to an obstacle, you come to something that's challenging. It's at that moment that you decide if you're going to move forward Are you going to stop and assess what's going on before taking actions? Or is the challenge going to be so overwhelming that you back down and you hold off on continuing forward? This is the primary question to consider when facing a crossroads while focusing on a goal. The Mars in Sagittarius, I'll just point this out here, influence causes the self to be bold, confident, but focused while moving ahead. Sagittarius energy is very optimistic. It's very adventurous. It would be emphasized more if this was Jupiter in Sagittarius, because Jupiter is a fire sign or a fire planet, and it's expansive, so it's just open to whatever is up ahead. But here with Mars and this influence of Sagittarius, we need to remain focused and harness this energy where we're going to, so it becomes more clear-cut, more understood. And also here, the position of the wands, they're waiting. Okay, so we have this energy that's brewing. We have all this energy that's starting to build up on these wands. These wands needs to start moving. They need to start putting directions. We have the growth. We're seeing the potential that's already been done, but we need to make the next step. And here we have a red ribbon, which is interwoven around all these staffs. It's almost like holding it in place. Red is the color of life, of movement, energy. And so with this here, this is like we're almost not frozen in fear, but we're momentarily just kind of trying to decide what's the best action to take to keep moving forward. And so with this card, we could see maybe waiting a little bit, but not for too long, because there's that new experience that's up ahead. And in this case, if this challenge comes that puts you away from what you had originally planned, this card can also emphasize a means of maybe making a different course of action. Okay, we may have to change plans a little bit, not the way that we had wanted to, but you're still going to move, but you're going to move in a different perspective. Okay, we're going to take these wands, instead of going this direction, we're going to have to go this way a little bit. We're going to have to move things around to get to where you need to reach your goals. Be mindful of the specifics of your plan, and don't let any limitations that you may have posed upon yourself that can hold back your will and intuition, and just trust that what you feel will, and the directions and the choices that you take will reach you to your highest aspirations. So with this card here, and with all the previous other Seven of Wands, we are focusing on trust. That trust comes from the intuition and taking that chance. And, if it backfires a little bit or a lot, then we have to make those changes. But don't let those changes freeze you, hold you back. Okay, like the ribbons here around the wands. This is like a temporary halt. The energy's there. Okay, the flames are still showing movement, but we need to potentially change the course of where we want it to go. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the element of fire is just that. Fire is just loose. It's how we use it. or how the signs use it when it's influenced in Mars. Yeah. So again, watch the specifics, look at the details of your plan before moving ahead. Don't allow any limitations that you may have placed upon yourself that can hold you back from having your own will to move ahead. And again, trust what you're feeling, your intuition, that it will lead you to where you need to be, your highest aspirations. Maybe not at this point, further down, but you keep moving ahead. Just follow your instincts. Things may happen quicker. Some situations may take a little bit longer. So overall, with the Seven of Wands, use this as a means of standing by your convictions, what you believe in, what you feel is correct, what feels to be the best way. Follow your true heart's desire towards where you want to be, where you want to go. Okay, defend your own beliefs and actions. Take control of your actions, but also have that willpower, okay, throughout this journey. Remember the two words I said earlier? Control and willpower is the key for the Seven of Wands to reach the success, the happiness, your aspirations to achieve all of this, the happiness and the joy and the success. It may be difficult at times, but all that effort that you've put in, that you've invested, people are watching. People are seeing what you're doing. Leos make sure that people know what they're doing. Hence the grand persona that Leos have. They make sure that they know that people know what they're working on. That's as long as it's of great importance. They want people to know what they're doing. And that's also self-empowering for the Leo. So that's how we see this decan, this last decan, the sign of Leo, from August 13th today to August 22nd. And I want to go back one sec. I want to go back and also let me just mention too, throughout this month of Leo, I wanted to point out, because I don't talk about it too much, that Leo rules the 5th house of creativity and pleasure. So it's everything that's at the conscious realm, but it's coming from here. It's the heart, the intuition, what really moves them, what motivates them. That's where that 5th house comes in. Pleasures, things that, it's not Venus-oriented pleasure, but it's the experience that they're having along the way, okay? And so it has to feel good for Leo, for them to actually, to be inspired to achieve. It has to feel right. Okay, so I'm going to back up. We're going to go to the 2nd decan very briefly, and then the 1st decan where we first started in Leo. And just reflect on the different energies and the minor arcana that was in each of these decans. So our previous decan, Leo II, our 2nd decan, from August 3rd to August 12th, was held. My notes are a little different here. There we go. Keyword was challenges. But here, I want to take this keyword of challenges and turn it around to victory and self-responsibility for the 6 of Wands. So I'm not going to do 20, 30 minutes of each decan because I've already done the reading for this, but just overall, this year we're seeing Jupiter in Leo. Okay, so remember what I was saying, Jupiter is expansive, it's open, it's positive. This is the Six of Wands we normally see with the RWS. We see an individual on a horse or on some high pedestal of victory. You know, so far the journey that they've been on has been proven successful. They're leaving a trail of a legacy of following what they believe in and seeing the growth that's happened during this time with the Six of Wands. It can also lead to an ego. If everything has been fruitful and successful thus far and you're getting accolades for it, try not to get that too much into your head. This is for the second decan. We can have all of this wonderment and joy and praise, but we can't let it, can't let that energy get the best of us. Okay. The other wonderful thing with the Six of Wands is we get that community support because we're starting to see what actions that you have taken and how beneficial it has been for you. People, again, as I mentioned, people are watching. They're going to start finding that trust. They're going to start believing in you. And they're going to find the faith in this individual to take care of a situation, especially when it comes to the community. This is a moment of just temporarily of recognition of one's efforts to success and leadership. Everyone's been seeing the hard work. Your endeavors are being acknowledged. And at this point, trust that things are being successful. Here is a different representation. Just want to show this really quickly. This is from the Dreams of Gaia. Of the Six of Fire. So what we're seeing here is what's the different energy is we're seeing here almost like the Hierophant, and I mentioned this when I did this interpretation. We're seeing someone who's a mediator, someone who has the strength and understanding of pulling together opposing energies and creating a balance, creating an understanding, creating peace inside and out. Okay, I'm just going to move this closer because I want you to see here we have this cup and it's filled, well, it's overflowing with water. We're seeing this emotional overflow that is being remedied so that it's peaceful. There may have to be some sacrifices along the way. One person may have to, back down a little bit to create that harmony. But this is a card of reconciliation, self-responsibility to who you are and to those that you are interacting with, connecting with, having a relationship with. We have to concede. Can't have two people who cannot come to an agreement, or two people who cannot, who cannot clearly want to work things out. They have to come to an understanding. They have to see exactly what's going on. And there will be some differences, but here we're seeing something that is of responsibility. and coming to that agreement and making peace. Okay, so this is what we have here with the Six of Wands, for example. Okay, so again, this is victory, self-responsibility with this Leo 2. And again, Jupiter and Leo, we're looking at that expansiveness, seeing the situation at a wider perspective. And then from there, you could start narrowing your direction to get to where you need to go. And that comes with the following decan, the third decan, with the authority and trust through the Seven of Wands. So we're seeing this energy move from the Six of Wands of success and achievement, but now going to the next step to continue onward to that goal, to where you want to be. All right, and then our first decan. I had to rechange the word for this as well. And that this is just my choice. Our first decan here. This is Leo 1. So this is held in the Sun in Leo, which is the luminary that directly influences Leo. It's that life force, it's that vitality, it's that energy. And I understand what Attila was saying, lust. Lust is just that excitement of life and everything that you put into what you enjoy the most. But I changed this to vitality. And so here are influences with the Five of Wands. But just to back up very quickly, here with the Sun in Leo, we're looking at always active, always being supportive. And again, the Sun with Leo is that life force. It is external. It's what moves them, what in the external plane of where we are, what influences do we see? There's someone who can have just such a strong energetic force that could be inspiring to you. They will work hard. They will do what it takes for their own success. Whether it's healing, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, they will do what it takes, and they will take the challenges when they come to get to where they want to be. That self-confidence. Self-confidence is of the great importance than it is actually attaining the goal. So it's just having that moment of like, yeah, I can do this. And they get to the goal. It's like, yeah, I already got there, but boy, this felt great. It's that kind of energy that we have here. With the Five of Wands, though, and this is from July 23rd to August 2nd, what we have here with the fives. Fives are known for challenges and facing these difficulties. But here with the Five of Wands, we're learning how to face this straight on. It's not a time to second guess what's going on. This is a time to really stand out and approach this conflict, because by not doing so, this will hold you back. And this will be of great disservice for a Leo who has a weak perspective on things, like not being able to see things fully and how to work through those situations. This is a time to be prepared and to reinforce what you believe in and your values. Keep an open mind and heart when working to resolve any any challenging energies that could be right at the root of the situation. I'll show you another card here. Another thing here, this is with the dreams of Gaia, is also seeing the side of your opponent, if it is someone that you are going against. This could also be yourself. So what's good is when you're in an opposing situation, don't be so self-centered to just think about yourself. Obviously, you need to protect yourself, but also strategize. You got to understand what forces and energies are coming from the other side. Why are they challenging you? What is it that they're missing that you have? And what do you have that they think that they're missing from? You have to see both sides of the situation to really understand the conflict of what's going on at that time so you can move on. If you're not seeing that situation for what it is and not understanding it, you're going to be continually fighting against yourself. And again, that's going to hold you back from getting to where you want to be. So it's seeing both sides and mutually, meeting right in the middle. It's very similar to the second decan when I was showing the Six of Wands, how opposing energies can actually, I'm going to show this card because this is the order. Okay, so here we have the struggles, we see the challenge, but if you look, one of the individuals is not really in the aggressive mode. This person is, because this person is actually looking and seeing, what's going on with the opposing force, maybe the weakness, and trying to understand what's going on. And then in turn, all this energy becomes the meeting of the mind. You have an external source coming in with the Six of Wands to merge these two opposing energies so that they can understand. So this is what we need to see here with the Five of Wands and this card of loyalty and vitality, understanding the other side. And also in doing so, you're allowing that conflict to change form and in turn potentially find the resolution in that situation. So you can actually have the power to change that perspective because you're not being the aggressor. You're not giving that same energy back that the other person is. That's where the difference comes in. If you're going back and forth with each other, you're not going to get anywhere until someone gets tired and someone concedes out. Someone needs to already make that move and just strategize and see, what's not the weak point, but what can I do to get through this matter so that both of us can work through this situation. It's like mediating while you're in the middle of a challenge. It's strategizing, I should say. And so that's what we see here with the Five of Wands, using that energy that we have, but using it in such a way that it can turn something challenging or negative into something that is a little bit more manageable so that both sides can understand each other. Again, this could be within yourself. Fears, fighting against those fears. Where are these fears coming from? Why are you letting these fears get to you? Why are you letting this person get to you? So on and so forth. It's getting past that aggression and finding exactly what that action is on the opposing side, what is causing that, and then coming to terms and understanding. So that was our first decan for Leo I, from July 23rd to August 2nd, with the Five of Wands. Our second decan, Leo II, is August 3rd to August 12th. That's the Six of Wands. And then rounding out the season of Leo, and our Leo III, from August 13th to the 22nd, taking charge of yourself, taking charge a situation that you can put trust within yourself and self-empower yourself so that you can move forward and be in that place that you really need to be. But again, that comes from self-confidence and following that intuition. Okay, I can't believe it. I have done a full year decan journey through the minor arcana with the Unified Esoteric Tarot. So this video is going to be placed in my playlist. I have all the links in the description if you want to look back at the decan readings that I've done for the past year. This is going to be the finale because there is no reason for me to go back and do it all again because I'm going to be working with the same cards. It's the same concept. Decans, the astrological decans and the tarot, they don't change. So when we get into Virgo, it's going to be the same card, which I believe is going to be, I believe it is the 5, I think it's the 5 of Pentacles, I think. Or it could be the 8. I think it's the 8, and then Capricorn starts over again with 2, 3, and 4. Anyhow, I'll have it in the playlist. So all of these placements will be the same. One thing I want to point out is even though with this decan and all the decans that they're set in their planetary influence in each of the signs for each astrological month, you can use those influences as reinforcement to where the current planetary placements are right now. So whatever Mars is in right now, or whatever Saturn is in during that decan, you can use, for example, you can use that Mars and Leo influence. I think Mars is in Virgo. Right now. So you can use that energy to work with this card of influence, Mars and Leo, with the 7 of Wands. So the decans, the minor arcana card of influences, always stay the same. So if you want to work with energy for a particular week, look for the decan and pull that card out. And you can use that card as guidance for enlightenment, for grounding, for movement, for dealing with communication, harmony, so on and so forth. You can use that particular card in line with whatever astrological placement is currently going on. And it could just reinforce those energies. So that's the beauty of this, because the minor arcana cards always stay the same with the decans. Just the planetary placement shifts with the Unified Esoteric Tarot because it does incorporate the 3 additional outer planets of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So that's it. This has been a wonderful experience. I've learned a massive amount in this time, and there's still more to explore. So I just want to point out a few resources. The Tarot of the Holy Light by Christine Payne Towler is an esoteric deck that I've been working with, and that's still available. You have to get the guidebook. If you get the deck and the little white book, it's just going to give you basic information, but to really understand the nuts and bolts, the Tarot of the Holy Light tarot deck, you need to get that guidebook. And the guidebook's about over 400 pages. It's thick. It's a textbook in a sense. But I've learned so much as to how to approach the tarot from the esoteric perspective through that guidebook, the Tarot of the Holy Light. It's the same name. The Unified Esoteric Tarot. by Attila Karpathy. This particular deck that I've been working with, okay, is out of print as of a few months ago. And Attila has the sister deck, I guess I could call it the sister deck, which is the Aquarian. The Aquarian, I think it's the Aquarian, it's not the Aquarian. I think it's the Aquarian Hermetic Tarot. I'm so sorry. This is the follow-up to the Unified Esoteric Tarot. So there are some slight changes, but it still incorporates alchemy, the astrological signs, the planets. Just design-wise, it's different. So for the elements, it also puts in cartomancy. So it does incorporate the clubs, the spades, hearts, and diamonds. And those are configured in that Aquarian Hermetic Tarot by their elements. And pictorially, all the elements have a scene related to the elements. So there's flames for fires in the background. I think Earth has blades of grass on it. But if you go to the website, which I believe I will, if I didn't already put it in the description, you can go and take a look at the deck. So the Aquarian Hermetic Tarot is the follow-up for the Unified Esoteric Tarot. That was one resource. And then the other resource is, and I did a review, not a review, I did an interview with T. Susan Chang. Her book, which came out earlier this year, is 36 Secrets. So here she talks about the decans from the RWS perspective and breaks down their meanings, the planetary influences. And she did similar to what I was doing, but she put into book form. She went through a journey through the decans for a year. This book came out December 31st, 2020. So her goal was to finish this book by the end of the year. And it's about 250 something pages. And I got this book right where I was entering Aries. So I had already gone through, like I said, Virgo. So when I got this book, I was already in the spring season, the season of Aries. So I am going to finish this book on my own and just read it in relation until we get into the next few seasons, how the decans relate to the minor arcana card. And it's full of information. T. Susan Chang is a wealth of knowledge. So this is the book that I have if you want to focus on the decans. And then there's also, I don't have the book for this, 36 Faces by Austin Coppock. The first edition came out a while ago, and as quickly as it was released was as quickly as it sold out, and there were no additional reprints. Austin Coppock is currently working on the follow-up for this. I believe it's going to be 36 Faces, but I guess he's going to update it. Hoping it'll be released this year, but I haven't heard any updates, so I don't know when that book's coming out. But the 36 Faces by Austin Coppock is supposed to be, it's more on the astrological associations with the planets and the signs decan-wise. While here, this is tarot first in relation to the astrological placements of the planets and sign by T. Susan Chang. So that's why I want to get the other book so I can have a balance between these two resources. And Susan Chang clearly references Austin Coppock for 36 Faces and the influences. So she makes a few comments from that book, from Austin's book, into her 36 Secrets. So that's a wonderful resource as well to get into the RWS, the understanding of the decans using that system. So I want to thank everyone who has watched the series that I've done. Again, all this is going to be put in the playlist. And what I will probably do is I don't know how I can do this. I was going to say, I'll go ahead and show the replay on YouTube, but I can't. There's no way I can prioritize an older video to show up, unless there's a way to do it. I don't think there is. But regardless, the playlist is there. Just look under Astrological Decans for 2020 and 2021, and you'll see the whole series. So let me know if you have any questions about it. You're going to see the change in how I describe these decans from when I first started to where I am now. So some of the decan readings are long, some of them are short, depending on the information and how I'm connecting with them. But I highly encourage those to bring in some of the astrology into your tarot, and it'll give you a wonderful perspective on the minor arcana cards that are key for each of these decans. And it'll give a better understanding as to the energies of how these planets and signs work together when they're placed with these particular minor arcana cards. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching. This has been a wonderful journey, full of knowledge. I am taking a break from astrology influenced tarot readings right now for probably until the fall, and then I'll start working astrology back into the tarot. I like to do a series where I'm focusing on the particular planetary energies of all the 10 planets out there, and not so much related to the tarot, but how these energies can influence the signs specifically. And maybe I'll pull out a few tarot cards as well for reference. So that's somewhere down the line. We'll see how all my ideas will start manifesting as I explore this more. So thank you so much. 1 year journey through the decans with the Unified Esoteric Tarot and various other decks. Have a wonderful day and evening. Any questions, again, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I will be seeing you again soon. Thank you so much.